Guys, it's Alex from Douglas Digital. Thank you again for your time this morning. It was really good to chat through the CPD stuff. I thought I'd just put, I'm not sure when you're going to get to have a test of the system, so I thought I'd put a quick training video together, which is what we typically do for clients on training different parts of the system as well as face-to-face. That way you can watch it back at your leisure and hopefully it'll answer any questions if you have any that you might get stuck. So this is the BIOS website that we've sent you the link to in the email, which just check that that's the correct URL you're going to. When you click on land on the site, rather than having my account here, you should have a login button where you can put your email, which is your username, and your password that I sent you over. I'm sorry, the password is really complicated. It's a system generated one, so you can change this. So once you've logged into the system, you can then go to My Account in CPD. I've just got to switch over to a user who's got CPD access because my admin user doesn't. So what I did there is I just clicked on the black bar at the top and then gone to the dashboard in the back end. And I will go down to users, all users, and I will switch into the user Joe Blogs, who is down here. So we've got Joe Blogs there, and I use the switch to functionality so I can see what Joe would see. So I'm now logged in as him. You'll notice the black bar's gone. So if I go to my account, and I can then click on CPD. So CPD is here in the grey bar if you don't go straight to it from the menu. So again, we've got the cycle at the top and the progress of the current cycle. Required hours to complete the cycle, when it started, when it ends, and how many hours I've completed so far. I've got a big blue button here to add a new activity to my CPD cycle. And if I scroll down, I've got everything that I've added so far. So I can see the amount of hours that I've added for the particular activity. I can edit an activity, go in and edit it or view it, and I can see the title and what activity type I've given it. The other option on this screen is I can select either everything or I can select individual things. And then I've got some bulk actions, so I can export the selected to PDF or CSV, or I can just export everything that I've done to PDF or CSV, which can be quite useful. So if you select one of those, all you need to do is press the apply button and that should then download the relevant file for you. But going back up to the top, if you click on add activity, this will then take you to add an activity. You still get your cycle bar, your progress bar at the top, which might not be needed for this particular page, but if you scroll down you should have add new activity here, so you can give it a title. You can select the activity type that comes through from the back, so you've got work-based learning, which is the group heading, and then everything that lives with under that. So select journal club. I'll say that this is 1 hour's worth of CPD. The date that I did it was today. My learning outcome, so this is outcome for the purpose of this video. And now if I don't fill in work completed, this is where we'll get chase up emails depending on the admin settings in the back end. But if I'm happy I've changed the way that I work, I can complete that now. So let's put some text in here. And I can also add, I can choose to upload files to my CPD that support this particular activity if I have anything. In this case I don't, but if you press that it just gets you to choose from your computer. So let's close that for a moment. So I'll save that particular activity and that will now, I've added it to my CPD record once it's span round. Oh, I was saying I've got a duplicate there, so I need to give it a slightly different name. So testing today. Obviously that's not allowing a duplicate title, but if that's going to be an issue, then we can remove that sort of deduplication functionality and allow it to. So I've just given it a different one. Okay, so that's now appeared here. Oh no. Oh, sorry, beg your pardon, it's Journal Club, it's there, testing today. There we go, I didn't see it for looking. So that's really a bit of an overview on the front end, and this bar will creep up as I add bits and pieces to it. So the next part of what we covered today is the admin area. So when you're logged into your accounts, you should see a black bar at the top. For this particular user, they don't have admin access. So I'll switch back into my admin account, and this will take me to the black bar at the top of the screen will appear, and then I will be able to be taken to the WordPress admin area. So the admin area is a little bit more complicated. I'm sorry I haven't got to remove a lot of these widgets on the left hand side at the moment, but really the only ones you guys need to sort of focus on is this CPD section here, and if you'd like to, you've got the user section here. So starting with CPD, which we covered today, at the top we've got CPD settings. So CPD settings is where the first part of this is where you can control the CPD chase up emails and specify when those go out, and that's if that field work completed is not filled in. Obviously if it is filled in, that will disengage the email for that particular activity. And there's a second one here as well. The wording and stuff, where we've got some help tips, and subject to review, we can change, update those. All the wording we can sort of change around here if needs be. So the first two boxes are those chase up emails. Going down, we've got this low hours notification period. So this is saying 1 month before the CPD cycle ends. There's a banner in the members area which displays this text to members who haven't met the requirement, and it will also send an email to those users to remind them to log in and do more CPD. The things you can do with the email, so if you click here, or if you go back up to these two email templates here, you can click there to edit the text as well. Typically when we build a client site, obviously the heads and tails will be wrapped in a client's branding, but the text in the middle you've got full control of. We can specify how many hours or points are going to be in a CPD cycle, when it starts, how long it is, and the period between CPD cycles. And then the last thing here, we've got if you change any of this in the middle of a current cycle, you can force it to update. All of the people that are also currently taking it, but it wants you to check that to confirm. Any changes that you make here, you need to save as well. Do bear in mind that if 3 of you are testing and using it and you're all making different changes, you might potentially undo what someone else has done. So just let each other know what settings you're having a look at. So that's the CPD settings. Then we've got the entry fields. So the entry fields are really when someone adds an activity, what they can align it to. So we call it activity type here, but that can be changed. And then you've got group heading. So when you add an activity type, if you tick this box here, it adds it as a group, what we call a sort of parent category. And then you've got all of these child categories that live within it. So currently at the moment, you can only proportion time to the children. You can't do it to the overall group, but obviously that's something we can certainly look at. The other thing you can do here is you can drag and drop and move these around if you want to, and you can set the maximum number of hours or points a user can get from a particular activity. So if I put 3 in here and save it, that means that you can log 10 hours if you want, but only 3 of those will count towards your current CPD cycle. So that's the different categories. You can change hours over to points here just by writing points in, and that will update the system. Date again is just to show that what the format is. We need to add some wording around here to explain these a little bit better. And then these are the learning outcome and the work completed are the fields within the CPD area, and again you can rename those, and the checkbox just says it's required when someone logs an activity that the user fills that in, whereas work completed is not required. You can make it required, but obviously we've got those chase up emails in, and from previous clients that we've worked with, they said that their users would generally reflect later on how they've changed what they do based on what they've learned, so they wouldn't always do it together. Okay, so you always need to press the save button once you made changes there. And that's the CPD entry fields. Next, we went to the audit report pie chart. It's a very simplistic pie chart at the moment. It's just showing you how many of your users have achieved the required level of CPD and how many are yet to achieve it. Obviously, we can improve that quite a lot based on your feedback today. So where you've got 250 points, we could break it down into more segments just to give you a nice snapshot of how many users are where within their CPD. And then last but not least, we've got the audit report, which unfortunately we removed the export button, but this is a way for administrators to run if you click filter up here, you can filter all of your CPD users based on a query, and we do need to make this a little bit more intuitive at the moment, but you can kind of understand the idea. So you can query the database, which will give you a list of users here, and then you can export those users to CSV. Oh, so it's now back. So that's good. At the moment, if you export the users, again, one of the questions today was, will it include emails and stuff? It might do at the moment, but obviously, or it might not, but we can customize that based on your requirements. So we can change that per client as to exactly what is exported there. The last thing to show you, so that's all of the CPD sections. And if you scroll down to users, if you do want to switch user, I've got this user Joe Blogs, but you can switch into different users here. So if we go down, got Joe Blogs here, and we've got the switch to button here, which you can switch over to if you want to. So hopefully this training video is helpful, but please do let us know if you get any questions or get stuck, and we'd be more than happy to help. Thank you very much.